Hello and welcome to the Daily Gas for May 28th, 2025. Philip has given us two Sudoku today, but those two Sudoku are not two different Sudoku, but one that is, as he put it, a wee bit sticky. Um, so the one that I'm presenting to you is like the original puzzle, and then he has another one called, what was it? Punch Card, which has additional clues. So I'll put both of those down below in the description, and feel free to try this one out. And if you do get a little bit stuck, feel free to try the one with additional clues. But in any case, we're facing Punched by Philip Newman, so normal Sudoku rules apply. Column indexer. The cells marked in red are column indexers. If a digit D in a red cell is in column C in its row, then digit C is in column D in the same row. Crop key pairs. Digits in cells separated by a white dot must be consecutive. Digits in cells separated by a black dot must have a ratio of 2 to 1. So what does that mean? Well, at this point, if you weren't familiar with column indexers like a week or so back, then at this point I expect you are, because we have seen, what is it? This is the third puzzle from Philip that we've seen with these column indexers. So this is column 1, this is column 5, and this is column 9. All of these cells are column indexers because they're marked with red. What that means is this tells us, this digit in here tells us where the 1, because this is column 1, where the 1 appears in the row. So if this was a 4, for example, that would tell us that the 1 appears in the fourth column in that row. If we then go here, this would tell us where the 5 went. So let's say this was 8. That would tell us that 5 is in the 8th position. And let's just say 9 was here. It is allowed to be 9 because it would point to itself. 9 would be indexing to the 9th column, which just so happens to be where the 9 is. Then we have our crop key pairs. So digits separated by a white dot must be consecutive, and Philip lets us know that means they have a difference of 1. So those are our pairs 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, so on and so forth up the line. The digits that follow one after the next, they are consecutive. Then the digits separated by a black dot have a 2 to 1 ratio. What that means is one value is twice that of the other. So those are our pairs 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, and 3, 6, where 5, 7, and 9 will never appear on a black dot because 5, 7, and 9, when multiplied or divided by 2, do not yield normal Sudoku digits. And finally, Philip does make a note that there's no negative constraint here. So even though there is no white dot here, doesn't mean this couldn't be a 1, 2 to have a white dot relationship. And I guess in the same way, it doesn't have to have a black dot. This one doesn't have to have a black dot to indicate that it has a 1 to 2 ratio relationship either. And that's it. Those are the rules. Let's jump right into it. All right, so right off the bat, I see a few different strings of black dot digits that all see each other. Um, Immediately, what that tells me is we are looking at the digits 1, 2, 4, 8. Um, in this case, it can't be 8 here because if it was, that would tell us that the 9 is in the 8th position, but we know this would have to be a 4, which means this is 1, 2, 4, 8, where the 1 tells us that the 9 is in the first position, and the 9 just so happens to tell us that the 1 is in the 9th position. This will be our 3, 7 pair, and this will be, or 3, 6 pair, sorry, and this will be 5, 7. Why that's interesting is because if this was 7 here, 5 can't go in the 7th position, which means 5 has to index to itself, and 7 goes there. Then we have this one, the 1, 2, 4, 8. So actually, without even thinking, I know where, like what order this goes in. I guess, sorry, I do have the Sudoku here to help me out. Um, but I was actually thinking about it in a different way, maybe a little more complicated. But one of the things that I brought up uh, in, what was it? It was the XV, right? It was the IVIX puzzle from a few days ago. I talked about how you could essentially treat these little sections on indexer, like column, full column indexers, as like an entropic line, mini entropic lines. And we'll use the line tool, and we can actually draw out these lines here. So why you can treat these as entropic lines, a line where you have a low digit, 1, 2, 3, a middle digit, 4, 5, 6, and a high digit, 7, 8, 9, is because if you think about where you're indexing to, the digits 1, 2, and 3 are low digits, would index to the first box. 4, 5, and 6 would indicate that we're looking at the second box, and 7, 8, 9 would push us to the third box. So with the 9 here telling us where the 1 went, if you had another high digit, a 7 or 8, that would place 1 somewhere in this box, which we know it can't be. So 1 exists as a high digit, then let's say it existed as a low digit with a 2, for example, and then we had a 5 here, then that would tell us that we have a 1 in this set of 3 cells, just like this one told us in these 3 cells, and the 5 would point to these 3 cells, that middle digit, the 4, 5, or 6, which is exactly what you expect to happen with a Sudoku. But anyways, tangent aside there, um, we don't need to do any of that fancy nonsense because we just have an 8 staring here, which means it isn't 1, 2, 4, 8. It has to be 1, 2, 4, 8 there. 4, we do get 5. 4, we're forced to place 3 there. 5, it can't be 4, so it must be 6. And now we have some indexing, right? You see a low digit, a middle digit, which we accounted for, and a high digit. So 5 goes there, and 5 goes there. 2, 4 means this is 3, 6. 9 can't be in the 6th position, so it must be in the 3rd position. And 1 actually is in the 6th position, so let's make sure we're indexing to that. 7, 9. 9 is in the 4th position here, and now we need a high digit, 7, 8, or 9, so 9 actually points to itself here. 6 can't be 5, so it must be 7 to be consecutive, and we're still missing 2 and 8. 2, 8, and 1 actually, if I want to be more precise, but 1, 2 wouldn't work. That's interesting. So this has to be 1 or 8. And if it was 1, 2, then... Oh, wait. Wait, how does this work in general? 1 second. 1, 2. 1 would be in the 2nd position, so you'd have to have a 2 here, but that just breaks. 1, 2, 1, 2. I guess even just because of the consecutive dot here. But if it's 8... 4. Oh no, so then sorry, then it would be 8, 7, and 1 is in the 7th position. Sorry, I don't know what my brain was doing there. This is allowed to be 7, and then the 1 would go here, and then this is going to be a 1, 3, um, and this could actually work. 1, 2, 2, 1, your black dot relationship, and what we were looking at here, which broke, would work just fine there. That is interesting, but I'll just put the 2 there. Let's resolve our 2, 8. This is 2 here. 1, 3 in some order. Just a number of distractions on this one. For 2, 9 can go in the 2nd position, the tooth position, as I sometimes like to say. But if this was 8, then 9 would go in the 8th position. That would work just fine. That actually would work perfectly because 8 can't be 7. It has to be 9. This has to be 4, 8 here. How is that helpful? A string of 4 consecutive digits. I guess I wasn't really thinking about that one. If you can't use 4, like if this was the 4 of the 4, 8, then... Sorry, I was just thinking about this again. This could be 3, 2, 1, and it still works. Just like 1, 2, 1 still works. Does that mean it's always 2, 1 though? Because it can't be 3, 4 because 4 Can't be 2 or 8. So I guess actually it does always have to be 2, 1. It's just about whether this is 1 or 3. Um, this is 4 or 5, pushing the 1 somewhere here. All right, what was I thinking about? The 4, 8. If this is 4, then it's either 5 to 8 or 6 to 9, which it can't be. It can't be 6 to 9, and it could, but it could be 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, no problem. And 5 would place 1 there. Hmm. What am I missing here? 2, 4, 2, or 2, sorry. 2, 3, 2, 1, or 8, 9. Hmm. I don't know what I'm. I guess this is the stickiness, right? 3, 3. Here, this will be 6, 3, which means this is 5 or 7. That's something. There we go. And we get the 1, 3. I've been missing that for a while. Um, because the other option I wasn't thinking about was 8. And if this is 8, there's a ton of options. 1 to 4 or um, 4 to 7, right? 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that actually wouldn't work because where would you place the 1? It'd have to be like 4, 5, 6, 7 in that direction, but that doesn't work because of the 5s. Hmm. But 4, 3, 2, 1 would be perfect because 4 would point to 1. There are some interesting options here, and I'm guessing this is where the stickiness came in. I expect that if there were additional clues somewhere, like maybe extra things along the indexers, maybe it'd be a little easier to spot. Hmm. Actually, none of these can be 6, can they? That might actually help us a lot. Because if this was 6, it would either have to be 6, 7 or 6, 5, and that doesn't work. So none of these can be 6, and the fact that none of these can be 6 means it has to be 1 through 4 or 2 through 5. 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't work, and 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't work, so it does have to be 1 to 4, and it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and that gives us 4, 8 here. 4 does point to our 1. Excuse me. 5. 5 gives us 7. Sorry. my clearly my throat is not doing well. What was I looking at? My goodness. Um, 4 cannot be 8 now. Sorry. Actually, I knew that the second I saw the 4, 8, so that should have been a little more obvious, but 2 does place the 9 here. So let's take care of that. And 9, 7 or 9 here. Either way, 9 goes in one of these two cells, which means we definitely have 8. Which means this has to be 7? No, for a 5, that's not. Yeah, because it can't be 9, right? Sorry. 9 has to go in one of these two cells, which means our high digit for 9 is going to be 8. So that means 8 goes in one of these cells here, and 9 goes in one of these cells here. Why does this mean this can't be 9 itself? This could be 9, 5 with 9, 8 here, no problem. Don't know what my brain was doing there. 9, 8, 7. Well, we definitely have to have a 9 in the 7th position, which we already knew. 8 here. Yeah, sorry, folks. Clearly, not just my throat is struggling. Well, let's not be dumb. We are just missing a 5 here from the 2nd position. It does give us a 2 here. That is all of our 2s now. 5 here does what for us? Nine, 9, 9, 7. Oh, wait. If 9 went in the 7th position, what would go here? Which means it's either 7, 9 in this order, which it can't be, which means it must be 7, 9 in that order. All right. I figured it out. I figured it out. This now has to be 6. 9 is in the 6th position. 9 is, what is it, 8, 5. So we do get the 5, 9, 9, 8. Just as we postulated. That's a good word. 3, 5. It's a little bit too serious for what we're doing here, but we get a 3 there, a 3 there. And we're almost done, folks. 5, 6 is going to be 6, 5. This is going to be, of course, 7, because we placed the 5 there. Where's the 1 here? It's in the 8th position. And we need 1 to go in the 1st position. And we have accounted for, I think, all of our indexers. So it's just whatever the leftovers are. Like 8 and 4 here. And 6 and 7. 4 and 8. So another 8, 4 to resolve. This is 6. 6 and 7. And finally, to finish this off, we need 4 and 6. And we are done in 14 minutes and 48 seconds with Punched by Philip Newman. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.